Yo, what's good? Actually, I was coming up with a name for our fans or like supporters.
Mm,
Ethereans? How about that?
I like Ethereans.
But yeah, what's up you guys? Sorry, that just popped in my mind. But hope you guys been well. I had to take a little hiatus. But I think it was really worth it. So now we're back. Um Also, it's been really hot still, so I hope you guys are being hydrated. How you been doing, ma'am?
Ma'am, sir, ma'am. I'm good. Just hanging out. Excited for today's episode. Excited to get our celestial check-in going after this. That everyone's gonna see, obviously, way before they see this episode, but at least they'll be able to check into the next one. So hopefully you guys like that. But other than that, chilling like a villain. How are you?
Nice. I'm good. Just came back from a show last night, rocked out. It was fun. But so today's episode is called Charts the Cards, Houses Decoded. Because a lot of people be coming up to me and be like, "Oh, can I get a reading?" But I do a certain type of reading. I do like natal readings combining with the tarot. So I do the houses mainly because it's really pinpointing on your current situation. So I think this episode was cool or is cool to actually break all that down. And there's another thing I'm gonna break down too, but I'll do that accordingly. So first, there's 12 houses. What are houses? Houses are the different areas of your life, starting the inner all the way to the out in the cosmos or the ethers, if you want to say, how each of those layers affect you, especially a part of your life, right? And I'm gonna break that down. Also, house lords. House lords are the planetary bodies that govern each house. Like, for example, the first house I'm about to break down. If your first house, which is also your rising sign, is a Capricorn, for example, your first house lord is Saturn. Now you can have um different house lords, right? That have the same planet. Like let's say you got Capricorn in the first house, but you got Aquarius in the sixth. Those two house lords is both Saturn. It's just Saturn traveling in those different areas of life. Um, so that's out the way. But let's get down to the houses, right? So the first house is basically it's usually governed by Aries or Mars, if you want to put it in that perspective. It's basically you, like your desires, your stuff like that, your personality, what makes up your aura and stuff like that. The second house is usually the Taurus house, but it's usually like whatever your um sign or planet is in that house. But usually it's the value, the things that you hold value, whether it's tangible or intangible. It could be anything that has meaning for you, even characteristics or values, morals, all that. So the third house is how you communicate with people, even within yourself. That's an air house. Also, houses have elements. So basically, Gemini kind of governs that area of life. But the fourth house is home, comfortability, what makes you comfortable, who, when, whatever. And that's a Cancer house.
Mm.
The fifth house is perception, right? What you do on the world stage versus how the world views you. Entertainment, right?
Like expression in general.
Yeah, to an extent, since it's already a firehouse, but it's expression towards others. Because the first house, which would be like kind of an Aries house, is self-expression. So this would be
Oh, okay. Like
you
I more like identity and like who you show yourself to be versus maybe pushing it outwards.
exactly.
Mm.
Um, the sixth house deals with the area of life where it's like health, work ethic, excuse me, work ethic and like, stuff like that.
Like routines kind of thing, like
Right.
service and that kind of stuff.
Batteries.
Okay.
And then the seventh house deals with relationships,
Mm.
even with yourself. Um, Typically people have a hard time in the seventh and eighth house because once you reach that threshold of the first six, is basically you on a surface level, and the other six is your internal world. That's why, it's fall time when it gets kind of like August area. You know what I'm saying? When it hits like Virgo and shit, it's like, oh shit, we finna go ahead and get the dark side of the seasons.
Yeah, it's like the compression kind of like subconscious, so to speak, or like
Right.
hidden.
Because that's why we're more prosperous in the I guess I would say prosperous, but we're more active during the first 6 months versus the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's
um,
like bloom season.
right, and it's spiritual death during that time, but spiritual
What's the
greatness
word?
happens in um what's up.
Gestation. I was just thinking like gestation period. Is that correct? Like
What does
when
that
it's
mean?
all, I think gestation period is when like everything is kind of getting ready to sprout.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I
I
think
mean,
that might be a thing. I'll look it up and put it up here later, guys, if I'm wrong.
um so the eighth house, this is like the darkest of the houses. This is like Scorpio type energy right here, and it's basically bringing your inner world outward, but it's your darkness, right? Or
Mm.
it don't have to be dark as an evil, but it's like the makeup that makes up you. It comes out. It's also a resourceful house. This is where you keep all your values and shit at on an emotional level,
Mm.
my language, and then also it deals with like sex and stuff like that. um the ninth house deals with expression on a level of you just experiencing moments, spontaneous things, traveling, right? Also learning. Jupiter rules this house as well. That's the house lord of this house. Typically, if your rising sign is an Aries, this house lord would be Jupiter because it's a Sag,
Mm.
um, for this house. So
Like
the 10th.
exploration kind of thing.
No, yeah, exploration, expansion, but that's Jupiter qualities because Pisces, they explore too, but they explore more on a like spiritual level to where it's like they're not even on Earth. Because Sag, when they expand through reality.
Mm.
And Pisces, they try to bring the cosmos down here. So it's different kinds of expansions.
Mm.
Um, so the 10th house is hierarchy, right? Or positionings in your life, or what position you are in life. It ain't got to be just work, where you stand, how you stand on business.
Like legacy kind of thing.
um in a way, I think that's more of an action than actually characteristic.
Okay, like kind of like because I didn't know if it was like public image, like what you leave behind, like your
I mean, that is
impression.
a Capricorn quality. You guys love legacy to a point where it's like, well, I got to be remembered when I'm gone. I don't
Mm.
want to tarnish my name, or whatever you're trying to do. But yeah,
Mm.
yeah, sure. And then the 11th house is humanitarianism and how you're seen within a crowd type of thing, like
Okay.
community wise. Um, and it's kind of like a positioning thing with the Capricorn, but it's like how you're seen within a crowd versus how you're seen when you're gone. You know,
Okay.
same same shit on the same coin. I mean, different stuff on the same coin type of energy. And then the last house, the 12th house, is the death house. And I hate saying it like that, but it's actually true. It's like what you've been shedding the whole time.
Yeah, it's
So
like surrender and rebirth kind of thing, not really just end all be all.
yeah, it's like I got rid of everything that has been going through, and
Mm.
you can tell as I'm explaining it. It's like you get the Aries, the Taurus, and then I mean the first house, second house, third, and it's like you're interacting throughout your life, and that's an expansion as well. So, and then it goes right back to the first house. So, yeah. Also, a couple people ask me, well, I don't have anything in the third or fourth house. And I'm like, well, that's cool. That means you have a blank slate. Like, let's say you have nothing in the third house, right? Basically, you can use a little bit of alchemy, right? Where it's like, if you have nothing in the third house, that just basically means you talk too much or you're not talking enough. Or if you ain't got nothing in the sixth house, well, maybe you work too much or you're not taking care of yourself, and you could put a certain planet in there. Let's say you need to put Venus in the third house, right? Let's say your Venus is in Gemini. Perfect, because Gemini likes being in the third house. So basically that equates to I love to communicate and I love to communicate with others because Venus means I love. So if you have nothing in certain houses, it's usually a lack of, right? So you can put anything in there that needs to help in that area of life. So if just in case people were confused, oh, I ain't got all the numbers. Like it's okay. You're not gonna
No,
have a
it's kind of an open opportunity to kind of plug in whatever you feel like you need in that certain area because there's nothing already kind of fixed in there.
yeah, for sure.
You can like channel energies of other, placements or characteristics to put in there because it's like a neutral like slate.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Um, any questions?
No, I think that was a great synopsis.
Preach. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
I'm
much
trying
the houses. Yeah.
I'm trying to think because I know that, that probably is the most common question is like, what if I don't have anything in this house kind of thing? So people usually like to know like what that means necessarily. And obviously, like I think knowing the certain traits, like, oh, why don't you mention the three placements in one house kind of thing?
Oh, stelliums. So a stellium is when you have the same sign and you have the same sign multiple times, or you have multiple planets in a house, right? So let's say my stellium's in Leo, but it's in Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, right? With those different placements, that's going to amplify the Leo energy. So
Mm.
Leo and Mercury would mean, oh, I think about, me being confident. And then Venus is like, oh, I love myself, or
Mm.
how I'm seen. And, when you break it down like that, it amplifies those placements already. Now, if you have four planets in a house, that means, let's say you got four placements in the eighth house. That means you're a really secretive person.
I think
Regardless.
I have three planets in the house.
No, facts. So, but it's like, what's in the house? Because
Yeah.
imagine when the planets are in the houses, imagine the planet is a person and they just got
Mm.
a new crib. And the sign that's on the planet is the interior. Like, what does this house look like? So if I'm Mercury and my Mercury's in Gemini and it's in the second house, I have an earthy crib, but it's a little chaotic though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's air energy in an earth house. You know what I'm saying? So, great question by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but
I
that
was
was
actually going to pull up mine as an example because I know I have a stellium. So I have Venus, Uranus, and Mars and Aquarius all in the eighth house.
right.
So that
You
kind
want
of just, I was going to say, just use me as an example if you want to like expand on like why that energy is so strong being in the eighth house. Like, how do those, placements show up there?
in this life you probably have to work on those like internal works.
Mm.
So you gotta do some internal work because that's what the eighth house is. Eighth house is anyways because it's internal trying to come out. So you say you had what in the eighth house? Sorry.
Venus, Uranus, Mars, Aquarius, all in the eighth house.
Yeah, for sure. So it's some individual work because Aquarius is in there. And you said Venus too? I mean, not,
Mm-hmm.
uh, were you saying the signs of the planets? Because
Both Venus, Uranus, Mars, all three are Aquarius in the eighth house.
oh, they're in Aquarius. Okay, I thought you said and Aquarius. I'm like, why she say the planets and the sign? Okay.
No, sorry, in Aquarius in the eighth house.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, you got to do some self love, babe.
Hey,
Um,
I've been there, done that. That's been my work the last 5 years.
yeah,
I
for
realized
sure.
that real quick.
Oh, and also it's self-sabotage energy because when Mars is if an air sign is on Mars, it's automatic self-sabotage off
Mm,
rip. It's because Mars moves faster than air. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like
mm,
drive and passion, or
mm,
it might be the other way around. But anyways, you're moving too much. in
Mm,
layman's terms, you know what I'm saying? But since it's in the eighth house, you want to, but
yeah.
it's kind of like, nah, we gonna chill, bro. But you
Yeah.
have that energy to actually go and do it, but it's like, nah.
Yeah, I definitely went from like not being aware and like not knowing or doing anything at all in terms of inner work to making it like my life mission to like do all of it before I did anything else, like all at one time. So it makes sense to me that like as soon as like and in the eighth house of it being kind of a little more hidden, like as soon as it like came to my conscious from the subconscious, I was like, all right, we have some shit to do. Let's get
Yeah.
to it. This is all I'm gonna focus on. And I did. And it was transformative, really.
And the
So,
cool and the cool part is it's like that's why I don't read horoscopes at all.
mm,
But it's kind of like you could use that same method, like by you doing that work anyways, and then you actually look at your chart years later, it's like, damn, that actually makes sense when someone breaks it down like that.
mhm.
And if I didn't know you and I did your reading and I will tell you these things, then it's like, oh damn, how did he know that? It's just like one of those things where in real time, you
Yeah.
know, it's like, wow, that's accurate as shit. So
I think it's helpful to know. It's like I obviously like didn't know, but that was kind of part of my makeup, so to
yeah,
speak. And I think that like, but if you're at a point in your life where you're like, I know I like have this inside bubbling, like I have to, you know, work in this area or do things in this area, whatever it is, like I think that understanding these placements and what houses they're in can help clarify where your focus should be going forward on yourself or like how you're showing up in relationships with other people. Like it's a great tool for self-reflection. If you feel like you don't know where to start, something like this I think is very cool to do if you feel like stuck in a certain area and you don't know why. Understanding this might help inspire you to look at a certain area in your life maybe and how you're showing up for it. So thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Banks, coming in with all the astrology tea that we possibly need. And yeah, I think I think slowly but surely it's starting to sink in my little brain. So I remember these things, but I was like, what can I bring to this episode? Because I don't really know a lot of this stuff, right? And I was like, I know that there's a lot of parallels between tarot and astrology. And I was like, I knew that a lot of the tarot cards, you know, the major arcana archetypes, a lot of them do sync with the birth chart and the houses. But I was like, when we did the big six episode, and I don't even remember what other episode, and I've kind of like gone through cards before, I've done a lot of the major ones. So I kind of wanted to take the opportunity to teach some of the lessons and communications around some of the minor arcana. So I'm focusing solely on that today. So I'm going to start with the first house and go through the 12. Me and my over ambitiousness, I couldn't just pick one card for each house. I had to pick two. So bear with me. I'm going to try to make it speedy. But the first house being kind of like self, identity, persona. Um, I chose the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Wands. Okay.
okay,
So the Knight of Wands is going out into the world and like showing who you are and kind of just being very bold, very action oriented, very charismatic, right? Just like, here I am, bitch type energy. Like, I'm coming, guns a blazing. So I felt like that was very representative of putting yourself out there. And kind of on the flip side of that, I felt like the Seven of Wands, which is more so like self-defense and boundaries and standing up for yourself and like having confidence under pressure, like I know who I am and you can't tell me, you know, otherwise. I felt like we're very representative of the first house. So that's those first two. The second house, which, you know, you kind of said also kind of has to do with values, like self-worth. I also feel like it has to do a little bit with like stability and money, maybe a little bit from like my previous understanding, but I didn't want to take it money like too literally, obviously. So I did the Nine of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, which I think are both pretty significant. The Nine of Pentacles is self-sufficiency, you know, comfort in your skin. She's like bitch, I know I'm like abundant as fuck type shit. It's very independent. On the flip side, the Five of Pentacles is kind of like scarcity, self-worth wounds, like feeling left out in the cold, right? Like head looking down, not feeling like anything's working out for you. But if you looked up, you'd see that there's more than meets the eye, maybe, and that you're probably blessed more than you think you are. So I felt like in terms of value and self-worth, like what you have, what you feel like you have, this kind of shows the polarity of them, especially with like the nine, because the Ten of Pentacles usually is more like family kind of thing, like abundance for all, but there's an independence with the Nine of Pentacles that I felt like was more so like self. So I wanted to do that. Next is the third house, which was, communication, kind of like learning kind of thing. The curious learning card in the tarot is the Page of Swords. This also can mean communication as well, but usually it's like a very inquisitive card. It's like a curiosity. It's like an eagerness to learn and kind of be prepared mentally for anything, just kind of being a really good student. And then the Three of Pentacles is kind of just working together with other people. Teamwork makes the dream work, collaboration, building upon, ideas with other people and knowing how to balance your ideas with someone else's. Because a lot of the time, like, our ego can get in the way with that. And someone could be like, I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. But actually, there's a good lesson in learning that, like, you can learn from other people as well. So I felt like that was very good for third house as well. Fourth house, which is, I think you said it was like home, foundations kind of thing. Uh,
Comfortability.
yeah, so comfortability, I felt like the ones that made the most sense for this. Sorry, guys, I gotta fix my ring because I'm weird. Um, Six of Cups and Four of Pentacles. This is also like kind of happy. This is like typically like a marriage card, right? In Judaism, this is called like a chuppah, which you get married under. I don't know why in here it's like that, but it's just like it doesn't have to necessarily be marriage. It's usually union. This is also like the twin flame card. It just means like strong foundation and pillars. And then the Six of Cups is usually like childhood, past energy. Like when this comes out in a reading for me with other cards, it usually gives me the energy of like childhood wounds, like if it's paired with something like, tower, right? So like if it's with tower, I'm like, oh, there's something that you believed for most of your upbringing that like is being kind of deconstructed kind of thing. So like that's kind of an example of how this might show up in like an actual reading. But this is definitely familiarity, nostalgia, childhood, just really the past card in general. Kind of giving love from that place of missing a little bit as well. So I felt like those were kind of applicable. What am I on? Fifth house? That's I have it as like expression, pleasure, romance, creativity, refresh me.
Yeah,
Um,
that's correct.
roughly, okay. So I have the Three of Cups and the Page of Cups. The Three of Cups is our like celebration card. You're with friends, it's woo-woo good times, right? Page of Cups is kind of like, making an emotional offer of some kind. It also can be, artistic play, emotional openness. Both are kind of like creative celebrations. Like, hey, like, look what I can do with you. That's like really fun. And, I felt like that was a good representation of that energy as well. Um, I'm pretty sure we've covered this before, but like, obviously, cups are water, swords are air, wands are fire, and pentacles are earth. Just a friendly reminder. Sixth house, sorry.
I
This is
stumbled
what
over it too.
I feel like I have so much to say and like I'm trying to say it too fast and this is what happens. Um, Sixth is health, work, right? Like routine, service, kind of your day-to-day life. I felt like what was indicative of this kind of same energy was the Eight of Pentacles here and then the Ten of Wands, right? Eight of Pentacles is kind of like mastery through daily devotion, right? Which sometimes, when you're working so hard on something, you're not seeing how much you've already built. And in the same kind of stone, like the Ten of Wands is kind of carrying burdens that aren't yours and feeling, overwhelmed or exhausted, like burnt out by responsibilities. So just kind of finding your balance in there. And I felt like this was very related to routine because I think we get lost in the sauce of the details of the work sometimes and we're taking on too much and struggle to pause. So I feel like there's lessons in that too. And then seventh, we have relationships, partnerships, mirror kind of thing. I felt like the two cards that were good for this were Two of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. Two of Cups is the partnership card, right? It's soulful connection, mutual love. Six of Pentacles is like reciprocated energy, balance between, love and work and giving to other people. Sometimes it could mean unequal give and take, right? Because there's two on this side and three on this side, finding the balance, not giving more than you have to give in certain relationships, that sort of thing. I feel like that just about covers it. Eighth house, which is like the transformation, right? Kind of rebirth energy, sex, intimacy, all that good jazz. I have Five of Cups and Ten of Swords. This is very much that like dark eighth house energy. The Five of Cups is kind of showing that you're too focused on the spilled cups, right? On what you're lacking, on what you don't have, that you're not aware of what's behind you and what you already do have. And the Ten of Swords is like mental overwhelm, fatigued, just like really exhausted. It's also indicative of like ego death and like betrayal, or some sort of illusion. So I feel like these do go hand in hand with the eighth house to a certain degree, just because, especially because 5 to 10, 10 is like a closing cycle card. So even though this looks really scary in a reading, I always tell people it's actually a good thing because it means that you can understand where you are and that it's about to be over, right? Because you kind of went through the shit and you can't get any, you can't, this is rock bottom, bitch. You got 10 swords in your back. You can't get much harder than this. So it means that things are going to get lighter because then when you kind of circle back around, it's the Ace of Swords, which is truth and new beginnings and, all that good jazz. So it looks really scary, but I promise it does end up serving you. And then we got the ninth house, which is that exploration, expansion energy. So I pulled the Three of Wands here and the Page of Wands. The Three of Wands is also like visionary outlook, journey forward. It's like you know where you want to go. It's just like taking those first steps. The Page of Wands is kind of similar to the Page of Swords, but it's more of a spiritual curiosity and wanting to explore. It also is a card of like the manifestations and the things you desire like are coming into alignment because you're taking steps into alignment with them. It's like being very clear on your vision and like having knowledge and like spirituality and philosophy and like a greater understanding so that way you're like, oh, like it's clicking, like I feel like I know where to go with this now and I can kind of find the reprieve in that, so to speak. And then we got the 10th house, right? That's career, kind of like public life, you said, kind of legacy, but not really. What I pulled for that was this is the only king and or queen I have here today, but I chose the King of Pentacles for this because the King of Pentacles is leadership, business mastery, right? This gives very Capricorn, like how I want to be perceived type shit, like know who the fuck I am and sit down type of thing. And the Six of Wands is a card of just victory, right? Writing off recognition, authority, success. Both of them are like, you wish you could be where I am, but because you're sitting in this energy of like uncertainty, it's like you're not very confident. So it's like this being in the 10th house and persona in that way of like how you want other people to view you and your stability. I felt like these cards were very representative. 11th house, collective vision, right? Kind of like refresh me because I don't feel like mine's
Um,
complete.
you said the word collective.
Yeah, just kind of like community. Um, this is the only major I have in here. Okay, this is the star. I have to put hearts because otherwise it's a little dirty. Even though I love titties, but I don't like to put it on the internet like that. So I have to put hearts over some of these. Um, And then I also have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment and like dream alignment. The star is also like, a greater vision and wish fulfillment, idealism. I felt like hopes and dreams of how you want to be a part of this world. Like you want to feel important and meaningful in the community, like in how you give and what's possible for you is kind of how I interpreted it. So I kind of took it as emotional fulfillment and infinite possibility in terms of your community. So that's how I interpreted that. And last but certainly not least, we have the 12th house, which, unconscious, surrender, spirituality, kind of also a rebirth kind of situation. I took it as very much like what is hidden in your mind that needs to be released to some degree. So I have the Four of Swords here, which is a card of rest, right? It's a card of inner retreat, resting your mind, not being able to sleep because you feel like you have a lot of mental burdens, but forgetting that you have this sword at your disposal that you can use to kind of fend them off. Like you can self-soothe a little bit and take time to pause and not feel so burdened, because this is usually how that feels, right? The Eight of Swords is kind of self-imposed limitations, inner prisons, kind of like unseen fears, um, just like feeling trapped by your own thoughts. But like, I think I remember someone saying that this card, like her ties aren't even tied that tight, but she just has this belief that she can't move or like, wiggle to like get a sword and like cut herself free. So I felt like these were very much that energy of knowing when to just relax and give it up, and you're not as burdened as maybe you think you are, and you can kind of free yourself and heal and start all over again if you so choose. But yeah, that's kind of my breakdown and interpretation of the houses. And
That
uh,
was fine.
thank you. And what I thought, the tarot representation was, because I knew if I ever was going to do a tarot 101 video, it would take forever to go through all 78 cards. So I'm glad I'm kind of doing it here and there in pieces because it's a little more digestible. But we really hope you guys liked this episode. This was very much a like informational dump, but I had fun. Did you have fun,
I
babe?
always have fun when I do this. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely lots to learn. I always feel like I forget to like take my notebook here and like write things down when you're teaching me things. But good thing about the internet, it's going to be up and I can watch it whatever I want, and you guys can too. So don't forget to tune into our last episode, which was energy leaks and chakra tweaks. If you didn't see it already, I'm gonna put it up there in the corner. And go check out our celestial check-in from last time, and then the one coming up. Subscribe, like, do all the good things that we appreciate you guys doing. We love you so much. Any last words for you till next
Nope, we gone.
time? Bye.